Welcome to Sportsnite. My name is Vanessa Litchard alongside Chase Glasser, ready to recap this year's hot takes. Now, we had a bunch of different takes this year. Some of them were off, some of them were way off, and some of them were kind of on. We wanted to take a look at the top 4 weirdest or most on hot takes of this year. And our first hot take comes from Akshay Luthra, the unsung hero of Sportsnite team. He said that the Wizards will make the NBA playoffs, and boy, was he wrong.
First hot take, we're going to the NBA. We're going to my team, the Washington Wizards, who have easily looked like the worst team in basketball so far. But my hot take is the Wizards will still make the playoffs. Yes, our chemistry sucks, not gonna lie, but they really got it into gear this past week. Massive come-from-behind victory after getting booed against the Clippers. Massive victory holding off James Harden despite him having 54 points in overtime against one of the best teams in the West, in the Rockets. This is a turning point. Markieff Morris benching has caused him to become much better. I don't know how that worked. Quite frankly, as long as we got the 4 young guns in the starting lineup and the old man with the messed up butt as our center, then we should be just fine.
Well, I don't know what you have to say about that, Chase, because I don't know much about NBA basketball, but I know that I didn't really think the Wizards were ever going to make the playoffs.
Well, I know this. I think John Wall is horribly overrated.
Yes.
Markieff Morris isn't even on the Washington Wizards, and the Wizards were eliminated from playoff contention on March 28th. So, I mean, there's a lot going on there that's wrong.
Yeah, I'm kind of wondering when Akshay made this hot take. Think it was towards the end of the year. Think it was because he's, big Washington guy, but he was wrong. So, moving on to the next one, let's see what we are going to do this time around. We have our second hot take segment, Matt saying that Alabama will not win the national championship. And as we know, he was right, which is shocking, honestly, because who would have think that Alabama would not actually win what they're known for? Let's take a look at that segment.
So my next hot take is Alabama will not win the national championship. I know I said before that I think they will, but I also said the only team that can beat Bama is Bama. And last night in the SEC championship game against Georgia, Tua got hurt. Jalen Hurts came in, and he has some nice Disney-like story comeback. But there's no way, if he gets hurt again against a team like Clemson, I don't think Jalen Hurts is going to play that well. Georgia kind of choked. They shouldn't have won. Alabama will not win the national championship.
That was honestly, I wouldn't have said that. For me personally, knowing a little bit about college football, you wouldn't think Alabama would lose, and especially Auburn or Clemson, excuse me.
Clemson.
They lost to Clemson this year, and Clemson, they were undefeated. They didn't even, they demolished Alabama.
I think Clemson was a little overlooked just because they do play in the ACC, which is top to bottom, not a very strong football conference right now. You look at Duke, one of their toughest competitors. I mean, it's Duke. Syracuse is okay, not great. You've got just a bunch of bottom feeders. Miami's terrible right now and will be for a bit in the future. And they were better than I certainly expected. And Alabama was a little bit, I think, overrated as well. And they just got absolutely run off the field by Clemson. And, Matt was more right than I think even he knew at the time.
Yeah. I definitely think here we have hot takes called hot takes for a reason, and a lot of people try and make, ridiculous claims, seeing if maybe they'll be right, maybe they'll be wrong, and Matt was right, so good for him, and I was honestly happy to see Alabama not win the championship. So we're moving on to hot take number 3. I don't know, Chase, you should take over this one, because this one's a little personal to me.
Yeah, well, Vanessa saying that the Oilers will make the playoffs turned out to be pretty wrong. I know I was pretty hot on the Oilers as well, both like McDavid, but she was wrong, and they didn't make the playoffs, so let's take a look at her not-so-shining moment.
Jeez. The big question right now is who's going to win the Stanley Cup? And my hot take is that the Oilers are going to win the Stanley Cup, even though they just lost a bunch of games, and there's a viral video going around of one of the Oilers fans throwing his jersey onto the ice. Keep in mind, jerseys are $120. I still think the Oilers can somehow whip it up with McDavid leading the pack and go into the conference finals and win.
Well, not only did they not go to the conference finals, they didn't even get to the playoffs, so that's pretty rough for Vanessa, I'm not going to lie. Can't sugarcoat it. They're only winning 35 games. That's not too pretty.
Yeah, I think so. Like, this was my first hot take. So I really, I was feeling good about the Oilers. I wanted them to win. I was hoping that they would win. And I think deep down in my heart, I knew they weren't even going to make the playoffs because they just didn't have a good team this previous year. But, there's always that not without hope thing. So, but right now, the hockey playoffs are going on. I mean, as we speak, basically, there's 2 games tonight with teams tied 3-3 both. I think it's the Leaves and the Bruins, and then we have the Knights and the Sharks. And I don't know if you've been watching any of the games, but I think we should mention that Tampa Bay, the best team all season, swept by the Blue Jackets, who had not even made it to the first round or like the second round of the playoffs ever.
Yeah,
So.
and then on the other side, you had the Avalanche beating the Flames, and that was another 8 seed beating a 1. The next 2 nights of hockey are going to be a lot of fun to watch. You got 3 Game 7s. I think they're all going to be good games.
Yeah. I'm excited to see the Capitals play the Canes. I'm excited to see all these teams too, like the Avalanche, the Canes, even just the Dallas Stars beating Nashville. These are teams you didn't really suspect to happen, and here they are performing. Don't really know who's going to win at all, but I'm excited to keep watching.
Yeah, a lot of small market teams, which I think is good for the league.
Yeah.
I'm sure Bettman's going to love to see that.
Yeah.
I think it's, like I said, I think the next 2 nights are going to be a lot of fun in the National Hockey League, and I think we're going to see some great games down the stretch.
Yeah, and I guess that finishes up here a little bit about hockey, a little bit about the hot takes. I'm going to end this with my own hot take. The Oilers will win the Stanley Cup next year. Don't give up on the Oilers. But have a nice sports night, and thanks for watching.